Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Jake, good to see you, man. Thank you for being on Popternative.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
I mean, this show is out of control. Let's just end it there, right?
It is. I've tried. I think I'm Betty describes it as No Country for Old Looney Tunes. I'm saying explosion at the emoji factory. It's a lot. Yeah,
I can't imagine like kind of reading these scripts. Like, what is kind of going through your mind when you're getting kind of the first scripts for this? Like, are you realizing?
I didn't even get a script at first. I just got that first scene for an audition where Simone and Wiley are under the giant rock, and yeah, about all the information I had was, okay, you're in a giant rock, you're being pursued by Germans, you're seeking the Holy Grail, this is your ex, she's a nun, you're having an argument, go. And I was like, what? And already just in that scene, the chemistry on the page that it seemed to have with Simone and Wiley, and how, he's trying to stay in control of the situation and be kind of the cool guy, the Han Solo that's like, yeah, this is my movie, this is my show. And she just constantly pokes holes in that theory over and over and over and over until it turns into a bickering argument between two exes.
Yeah, no, totally. And yeah. To kind of, it's interesting because obviously, sci-fi with the AI, that's the first kind of thing that comes to mind a little bit. But my thing with this show is I love the genre bending component of it, because I do feel like a lot is thrown in, and audience like perspectives interest me, right? Because you have the passive audience member, the active audience member, and this one really is like a phone down show. Like, you will miss a lot.
Oh, I know, man. I know. Well, so I had that scene and I was like, I think I get how to do this. Could I have a script? So they gave me a script, and then it was, it provided context for that scene, but it was like, oh, the whole world is this wacky. We got giant magnifying glasses. We've got jam on nuns. We've got the Holy Grail. We're flashing back to Sisters of the Coin and like ancient France. It's a lot. Yeah. And that's one of the most, attractive things about the show. It was the most attractive thing about the script, that it was like, God, if like half of what was in the script could be put on its feet, for the actual show, this would be great. And it feels like every single department just swung for the fences and knocked it out of the park. Because it's a fine line of, you can't tip too silly, because you've got to come back and have high stakes, drama at certain parts of the story. And Betty does such a incredible job of walking that line. But it's all there in the text. So yeah, me personally, it's always a thrill to be part of something that's just hard to compare to anything else you've read or seen.
And like, when you're making it, you're probably not thinking about these things, but I'm just curious, like, you had the premiere recently and everything. Are you conscious of like the audience members' reactions to this potentially? Because I feel like with this show, you don't know really what you're signing up for. You look at a lot of stuff you worked on in the past, right? Like Limitless, The Right Stuff, Greek. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into, right? With this one, I'm not sure they know really what they're getting themselves into.
No, I can almost guarantee you people wouldn't. No, we had like 3 scripts, right, before we started shooting, or I did. And every time it came in, we were kind of waiting for it to level out and be like, all right, when are we going to get the like script that's just chill, and we just kind of sit in the established world and have like kind of a normal back and forth? Because all these crazy concepts that were in the first 3 episodes, they can't possibly keep this ball in the air, can they? And they did, like, over and over and over. They get progressively weirder. We had our premiere yesterday, and that was the first 2 episodes we played, and it's bonkers enough already, those 2 episodes. But honestly, those are the most normal out of the seasons. I guess when you're filming it, you're not so in tune with what an audience is. You kind of are the audience when you're filming it. You're doing it and reflecting upon, like, what the fuck are we doing? But in the best way. It's been honestly jarring, since we wrapped the show, to see Betty out of a nun habit. Because almost like a cartoon character, we're in the same wardrobe for so much of the show, and it is so surreal to have this, badass nun riding motorcycles and a white steed, kicking the shit out of AI. It's bizarre.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Where like this show, like honestly, is like way better when you go in fresh. Like even I know there's people that love watching trailers and everything, but like, if you just go in, because that's one of my favorite things. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
Is that how you did? Did you just go in blind?
I just went in. I went in.
Oh my God,
I went in, Jake. I went in, and I didn't look back.
That's great, man. That's a great way to do it. Yeah, I mean, I'd say our trailer, it still doesn't feel like you can piece together what the hell is going on, and I think that I mean that as a compliment to the show, because it's just all over the place. It is like it's genre bending is a really good word for it, and that's one of the most edifying things to do as an actor, is to be able to have the same character, take you through comedy, drama, romance, adventure, sci-fi. Like it's really, really, really a unique kind of opportunity for us to play around.
I feel like genre bending became really trendy. Like remember, like around the pandemic, where like hot sauce was like the biggest thing. Like everyone was eating hot sauce all the time. It was like the it thing, right? And genre bending is all over the place. And I feel like there is a little bit of kind of a premeditated genre bending where people are kind of trying to do as much as they can. But I feel like in the 2000s, Jake, I don't think someone kind of woke up and was like, I want to make a comedy vampire horror drama about computers.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, I feel like it just happened, and maybe some people planned for it, but I feel like genre bending just happens, Jake.
I mean, you mean like genre bending as a genre?
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
because now it's like people look to put everything in something, and it's kind of one of those, like, in the greatest way possible. It's kind of one of those, what kind of show am I watching?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, it might be just, there's so much being made now, and it's hard. It feels hard to break through with a fresh idea. And so that might come from just trying to be like, all right, well, instead of trying to break through with a idea, let's break through with 10 ideas in one, because I think that was when I read it, just, it was so fiercely original that it was so attractive as an actor to get to do all those different things. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just got into like, sequel after sequel after sequel, and the desire for something really original, turned into genre bending, where it's like, well, why does it have to be this binary choice of a comedy or a drama or a rom-com, or when it can be kind of all of those things? I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is Shaun of the Dead, and Shaun of the Dead. It's a comedy, but like it's also a romantic comedy. It's also a proper horror film, and there's like real drama there too. So like I always love when they do that, when you can't really put it in one category.
You told me your favorite movie of all time, so I have to tell you mine. I don't think it's like a genre bending, but School of Rock is my favorate movie of all time.
That's a great movie. Right now, you can ask me. I've been here all morning, and I've got Jack Black's Peaches song from the Mario movie stuck in my head. The
School of Rock is like a movie. There are movies out there, and even shows as well, that I don't get tired of them.
Yeah, I mean, School of Rock. That's Jack Black at the height of his powers, man.
He says in interviews that's like his favorite movie that he's done, like for his career and everything. Yeah, like
I don't doubt it. He was on fire in that movie.
It was so good. And very quickly, because I can't wait for people to see, Miss Davis on Peacock April 20th. It's premiering. What did you like the most about this character specifically? Why? Like, what was something that you really loved about the character you got to play on this? Because he's a cool dude, but he's kind of thrown in a situation, like we said at the beginning of the interview.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I mean that was kind of even in that one scene that I was given before I got to read the whole script, the idea that somebody has such an introduction to the series, comes in on a motorcycle, picks her up, big chase scene, jumps through a donut, red jacket in the desert, and then within 5 seconds she just rips him to pieces, and he's not nearly as cool as he wants everyone to think he is. That's like one of the funnest things to play, especially playing that across from Betty Gilpin. Yeah, it's just a joy. But then as the show goes on, like they do this for almost every character in the show. They can let you have these funny moments in this broad, almost slapstick comedy with the character, but then they let you go there dramatically too. Like that has stakes dramatically that I honestly think when I read it, until we started putting it on its feet, I don't even think I anticipated just how deep we were going to go with these people, and it was made it so rich and so fun to play. And so I love Wiley, and I love all the characters in this so much. JQ, and even Simone's mom, just literally everybody that's on the show has such a sharp wit, but then can really, really, really dive and dig deep into who they are and the drama of it, you know? So I think, you know, quick answer, just the fact that he thinks he's cool, but he's a nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for people to see it on Peacock. Jake, thank you so much for your time. It was great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man, you too. What a great time.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.